Hello, YouTube. This is Doug Robbins. I just want to talk to you today about when you're writing a slasher film or a slasher story. Slasher meaning, there's a serial killer and he's usually killing people with a sharp object. I'm going to talk about probably various things, but the one hard and fast rule, general rule of thumb, if they haven't done enough, or, if the villain has not done enough, or it hasn't been too bad, then you can keep them alive. Look at Halloween, because again, especially after Halloween Ends came out, people were like, "Oh man, Michael was, he waited so long and he only killed like a few people." There he was a myth. He was mythological, and um, it was okay that he lived. Um, Someone like a Chucky, someone like a Freddy Krueger, someone like you know Jason Voorhees, Art the Clown, especially, that motherfucker needs to die. Um, so don't leave the like real bad, horrendous people. Like when your movie's too bad, like you know what I mean, like where it's more about the gore, it's more just awful, gratuitous shit that's like even beyond a slasher flick. Because to me, a slasher film should still have some element of suspense. And again, I don't just want to say, because a lot of slasher films do add comedy. And to me, it's like a lot of times you add the comedy, to, bring a little levity, especially before all the mayhem. That's fine. But my rule with that is you never make the killer themselves a joke, is the thing. So, if you're watching something stupid like Scary Movie, not only is the killer a joke, the victims are a joke, and to me, it's like it's really trashy. Like I don't like that kind of. That's that's just fucking gross. Like everyone's a fucking basically sexual deviant. Uh, no, it's disgusting trash. Especially the scene where they hit the guy's daughter and the mom's like giving head and the dad's driving is like, oh, it's like, oh no, that keeps, and it's just, keep blowing me. Stupid fucking trashy shit like that. Cutting out the fucking breast implant. Just nasty, horrible people you don't want to be around. And then Shane Elizabeth getting her fucking head cut off and still talking. Not that kind of humor. I'm talking more Halloween 2018 where they're like, well, there's bad lines and there's stupid, yeah. But it's still a satisfying movie with characters you actually care about. Um, and it's made to lighten things up and keep it entertaining versus just straight up trashy nonsense around people I just don't want to be around. That's the difference, folks. And you can talk about your taboos in slasher movies, which is fine. Um, I don't know. I don't think of shit like these slasher movies the way people always traditionally talk about. Like I don't care about the sexual elements. I don't care about really the gore because again, I got to be honest with you. If I'm watching, let's say, Child's Play or I'm watching Scream, both of them are, Chucky's very violent. Chucky's got a horrible mouth. Scream is very violent. Ghostface, Got a bit of a potty mouth, as they'd say. But to me, Chucky is just such a better character. And I actually give a shit about Karen and Andy as protagonists. I want them to live. Now, again, the very simplest way to look at a child's play, at first it was just like, well, they kill the babysitter, and it's like, well, it's just a horror movie death. But like, the more I watch it, and trust me, I've probably seen that, the first three child's plays more than even any of the Halloweens because I had a bigger head start. I mean, my first Halloween movie was at 10, and my first Chucky movie, the original Child's Play, was a 2. So it's like, yeah, and it wasn't even the original. It was H2O. That was my first Halloween movie. So yeah, Brad Dourif, Tom Holland, Don Mancini, maybe Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif's kid, and me. But fan wise, I am the fucking king of the first three Child's Plays. So you try to argue with me. That's like saying I started out, my own country out in my garage, and I'm going to go tell the president of the United States of America how to do shit. You have your opinion. It's just not very relevant. Moving on. Now, again, imagine that you're sitting there, your friend's been killed, you don't know what the fuck's going on, and the detective is like noticing your kids wearing the same shoes that were in the flour on the counter, and Karen gets pissed, turns around like, what are you implying? And so you got that awkwardness. Then you got the shit that Andy said. Uh, Aunt Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved. She won't believe him about Chucky. And if you want to look at it from that perspective, because 99% of the world is going to look at that shit through that perspective. Well, of course they didn't believe him. Whereas, someone like me, Beetlejuice, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Child's Play, Batman, when I'm watching a movie, I don't have that. This shit don't exist. No. It's on screen, brother. It exists. I hate the cop out of, oh, the ghost isn't real. Oh, the killer was just in your imagination. The monster, fuck you. No, motherfucker. Anything can happen in a story, in a movie, and it can be real. I want the magic of anything. These fantastical creatures, and they don't necessarily have to be metaphors or similes for something else. I like to suspend my disbelief and exist in a world, even if just for an hour and a half or 2 hours, sometimes 3 if it's really good. But more likely 2.5 is the limit over 3. Um, I like the idea of existing in a world where magic happens. Um, you know, Voodoo can work. Chucky has a soul. I can dance with a leprechaun. I can do all this kind of stuff. Now, I also want to talk to you about Art the Clown. Um, in my opinion, that's how you don't write a slasher film. I'm going to tell you why. Look at the original Halloween. Look at Terrifier. All the all the money and budget, I'll bet you went to the gore. But you for Terrifier, but the original Halloween, that was a low budget movie. That was 300,000, and because of the Panaglide and all the little in camera techniques, that movie does not look as low budget as it is. It does not look like a $300,000 movie. That was in '78. Terrifier was like what, 2013 maybe? I don't remember. Uh, and then there was the sequel. I don't know, 2021, 2022. I don't fucking remember. But it's the kind, and look how cheap it looks. I mean, it looks like a YouTube movie. You know what I'm talking? Like you watch these movies for free on YouTube, and it looks like you got your like mom or your aunt or uncle or your like mom or your buddy's friend from school. Which again, there's no shame in starting out like that, but that's usually to me like teenagers or preteens. Certainly not something like Terrifier 2 that I would like put in a theater. You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, Terrifier 2 was a violent movie, and one of those movies that's very hard to control. Um, you know what I mean? Like, gratuitous violence is okay, but what else are you doing? And you're breaking, my rule. My one specific rule for slasher movies: if you're too bad, you got to die at the end. And Art the Clown has broke this rule, and it's like this dumbass. Well, it's not the character's fault. It's not the actor's fault. It's a sleazy ass screenwriter coming up with this stupid shit, saying, you know, basically being reborn and crawling out of a woman's, you know what I'm saying? After it's been unnecessarily violent. I mean, you can call a slasher movie trashy. You can call it stupid. Absolutely. Um, but at the end of the day, don't bring it on yourself. Don't, because I mean, I'm sure people are on here are sick of me talking about Halloween. Look at Dr. Loomis. Again, to me, and everyone shits on him and says he's a weirdo. To me, he's the guy there to protect the world from Michael Myers, where again, no one believes him, but it's like he's the boogeyman. And then he shoots him, he takes all this damage and all this mythical talk that no one's really buying. But then why do they buy it? I mean, number one, yeah, you suspend your disbelief in a movie, but number two, he just gets up like nothing happens. But it's still done in a realistic way. It's like if Black Christmas didn't suck, like, because Michael has that kind of, like, I don't want to say trashy, because I love Michael Myers to death, but I don't know, that like skeevy, scuzzy, like weird 1970s, like if the bad slasher movies were good, because that's the thing, like Billy from Black Christmas was a dumbass. Like, to me, there was Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night. They're trashy and they're bullshit. But if I had to pick which was more legitimate, I would definitely say Silent Night, Deadly Night, because at least there I empathized with that Billy. It's ironic that both Christmas slashers and Killer Santas named fucking Billy. How original. I just realized that. But yeah, man. And like I kind of cut Silent Night, Deadly Night a break because I don't know, especially when he's wearing the white and the jeans, he just looked like if Brady didn't look like the haunted mask. Not the one haunted mask, but well, the dummy with the big eyebrows in part three, night or shit, the slappy bullshit, the Night of Living Dummy 3. Remember the one with the? It was either that or the fourth one, but remember the one with the big bushy eyebrows and his mouth's all open. He's freaky as hell looking, way too big a head. Yeah, that dude. If Brady didn't look like that, that's what Billy, looked like. I felt like if I were to write a fucking script, I would probably, based in the '80s, I would probably hook him and Rachel up from Halloween 4 and make more of the like Halloween hybrid I would want. Because it's sad, man. It's tragic, and it's like it's like Halloween Rob Zombie's remake. Um, you put a little more finesse into these motherfuckers, and you got a legitimate movie and not more of the trash. Like again, and again, at the very least, what did they do at the end of Silent Night, Deadly Night? They kill Billy. So again, you can say, okay, Billy gets killed. So if you're bad enough or you've done bad enough, you get killed. So he followed that rule. So good job to that movie. At the same time, you got fucking rape. Like, bro, that's the one thing. That's the one taboo besides like pedophilia, but I just kind of lump all them together. But it's like, rape is like the one thing that's so hard to steer. At the very least, expect your audience to be super small if you make that a part of your movie. Um, you know, they're not slasher movies. They're almost slasher movies. I think these are more, you got to call them serial killer movies. They look like slasher movies, so if you're a slasher fan, you might be into them, and if you're desensitized as hell, but they're the kind of movies that they're serial killer slasher movies, and that's a weird distinction that no one on this planet but the dude sitting here yelling at the fucking camera will make. But it's 100% true. Nobody. I mean, think of Halloween 2007. Who is a better character? Who isn't just background fodder besides the killer in Halloween 2007 and whatever else it's called, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great night.